The next one is invoice hierarchy. If you're clicking it, you are able to see pop-up window. At the moment, we have 3 customers. If you click the plus sign here, all available invoice ID is sitting here. If you double clicking ID number, you are able to see invoice detail. Double click the number 7 invoice information as well. Click here. Number 3, you are able to see another invoice information very quickly. Let me show you how it works. Let's create new invoice. At the moment, we have up to invoice number 8. Therefore, we have number 9 here. Let's create a new invoice. Let's add in supplier info. Selecting, double clicking it automatically in the form. Let's add in customer info. Just select one of them. I will go with the king. Next step, let's add product description. Clicking it, you can select the information, quantity, add one more, box, 2 as well. Scroll down a bit, you are able to add shipping cost, also discount. The rest is automatically calculating it. In addition, you can change your payment method and information in here. Go back, click new invoice. Go to save one. You can see ID number 9 has been added. Customer name is King. In save 2, you are able to see 2 new product description here. Let's go back. Now you see invoice import change into 10. The next function is we can bring back existing invoice info. Let's go with number 9. Click call existing invoice. The number 9 is here. Let's add it one more product description here. I will go with notebook, put 1 as quantity. After that, click invoice correction. If you go to save 2, you are able to see third one is added here as well. Let's go back. As next function, let's delete invoice. Come here, put 9, call existing invoice. I wanna delete number 9, ID invoice. Clicking it, disappearing. Go to save 1, the 9 is gone. In save 2, the 9 is gone here. The next part is a saving method. It allows you to save Excel file, JPG file, and PDF file. Let's go with Excel file. Here, number 4, calling existing one. I want to save this one as Excel file. In order to define the location, please go to Input Sheet. You are allowed to select JPG file location, Excel file location. Go back. Click Save as Excel file button here. We saved it here as ID4. Go to Folder. Click ID4. Zoom out. Now you can see Excel file of invoice. Let's go back. Now I want to save as JPG. Put here 5. Click existing invoice first. All informations are available. Then click JPG. Click OK. Let's go and check. This is a save folder. ID5 is here. Double clicking it. You are able to see JPG file as well. The next one is printing as paper or PDF file. I click here number 7, call existing invoice, print PDF file. I will save it in photo folder. File name going to be test4. Click save button. Let's go and check. You are able to see test4. Double clicking it. It looks very nice. Let's go back. The next one is invoice hierarchy. If you're clicking it, you are able to see pop-up window. At the moment, we have 3 customers. If you click the plus sign here, all available invoice ID is sitting here. If you double clicking ID number, you are able to see invoice detail. Double click the number 7 invoice information as well. Click here. Number 3, you are able to see another invoice information very quickly. Here, called checkbox. Clicking it, you are able to see checkboxes in front of the ID number. Click ID5 as an example. Then if you click print button, this one will print it automatically from pop-up window. That's all for demonstration. Are you ready for creating this file? Let's go then. Let's get started. Once you open practice file, it looks like this. This file consists of 7 different sheets. The first one is called Invoice, which is the main sheet. This part is a form of invoice, and there is various functional buttons for invoice management system tool. In case of the contents of invoice, here in the middle, the number of items are very different depending on invoices, but the rest of the item is a single information for each invoices. Therefore, I split into 2 pieces. Save 1, which is a single information like issue date, customer name, and so on. In case of save 2, it consists of only the item information. Here you can see in case of ID1 has 2 items, in case of ID2 has 3, and so on here. For current status, you can see the statistic of invoices which you stored. The next 3 sheets are inputs. For input sheet here, you can choose the storage folder for photos and also storage folder for Excel file of invoices. In J column, also you can define different input parameters as well. For customer list, you can add your customer information, and also here you can store the list of your suppliers as well. The last item is called item management. In here, you can store your listed item which you are selling. Let's go back to invoice sheet. Just click the button. The next one is a name boxes. If you go here, you can see name boxes. Click the arrow here. There's a lot of names for specific cells or ranges in the sheet. For example, if you click here ID, it's automatically indicate the location where defined as ID. In the same manner, you can find all different defined names. If you want to change the name boxes names, please go to Formula tab, go to Name Manager. You can find the predefined names here. I will close it here. Up to now is the explanation on precondition of practice file. As a first step, let's start with the receive import, which means if you click this button, then something popped up. That information going into customer information in this sheet here. That's gonna be here. Build 2 in this area. In order to go to VBA editor, please press Alt F11. It looks like this. The most important 2 things is module and form. Please press plus here. You can see main module. Press plus here. You can see custom user form here. In case of the main sheet, double clicking it. In here, we are going to create our functions. In case of above, for example, supplier, I already creating supplier list. In case of custom list, I already preparing here. The last one is hierarchy, and we are creating the hierarchy form here. Let's go back to main module. First things first, let's create pop-up window if we press the button. In case of receiver, let's go to custom list. That window will pop up. The name of this user form is called custom_list. Copy the name, Ctrl C. Go back to main. In case of receiver is here, Ctrl V. Put show sh. Press tab key. It's done. Next part is let's this part is empty. In order to save our memory, put set. Then Ctrl V and equal to nothing, then enter, which means after showing, then this custom list is going to be set empty. Let's go back to sheet, come down to here. I will make it zoom in. Before starting, I want to mention one thing. All these buttons are already linked with the corresponding subs. For example, our receive info cases, click right hand mouse button. You can see assign macro, clicking it. You can see receive part B are selected it. If you click add button here, it's directly heading to the sub for receive the part B. Let's go back again. In order to run, just click the button. I'm going to click it. then automatically the window is popped up. Now I would like to close this window by clicking this button here. Nothing happened at the moment. Let's implementing the closing part. Press Alt Tab. You can go back. Double click the close button. Automatically creating new coding area. So here we can put unload me. That's all. Let's test it again. Alt Tab. Click receive info. Click close button. It works. Let's go back again. If you click the button here inside, you can see the name is a change. This part called list box, and I put list box underscore clients. Let's have a little deeper look on this part. The first thing is if you see the column count, the total number of count is by 8, but if you change 9 and then it will increase one more columns. In case of column head means it's adding head or not. In case of column width, you can control width of the columns here. For inside, if you go font, click here and click here. You can change detail, font size, font style, and so on and so on. Scroll down a bit. That's important part called row sources. In order to read the information, there is a required range. The given ranges are following by here. So in order to change your input sources, you have to change this part. Okay, that's good enough for explanation of list box. Go back to sheet. What we are going to do is following. First, click the receiver info button, then pop-up window. Select the customer information which we want to put into invoice form. Double clicking it. Then these informations are printing into this area. Let's implement it that part. Close form here. Back to VBA. Double click the custom list here. It automatically showed this, but what we need is actually double clicking it. So go here, procedure, select the double click. Then we have double click function. Now we can delete the above one. The first thing is we have to define the worksheet. So I already preparing theme custom worksheet as worksheet. Set this custom worksheet is equal to this workbook point custom list. In case custom list is, go back to sheet. This is the name of our custom list, right? Go back again. Simply speaking, custom list is our custom worksheet. In case of VBA is always read from right to left. This become that one. Next part is with custom worksheet and with. Under this worksheet, we will implement something. Let's go back to sheet. If you click here, you can see customer name, company name, street number, city, up to email. These informations are what we needed. Go back to here. Let's start with custom name. Select the name, Ctrl C, go back. In here, make the big bracket, Ctrl V. This is how we call specific cell with the name box defined the name. Point value equal to, copy this part, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, point list, top, open bracket, again, list box name, point, list again, in this case, list index, top, comma, 0, close the bracket, enter. The meaning of this part is following. Let's go back to custom list form, double clicking it. This is called list box client. Then we have list here. From this list, we have list index. This is called list index 0. This is called list index 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Go back, double clicking it. What it means that the index box clients list at 01 is defined as custom name. So the first column, put them into custom name. Let's test it whether it's working or not. Go back to sheet. Click here. I will double clicking it. Then the name Stefan is printing into our invoice sheet. However, the rest is not printed it. So we have to edit index number 1, 2, 3, etc. close the pop-up window, go back to VBA, double clicking it. What we are going to do is copy entire this one, Control V, go back to sheet. The next one is company name, Control C, Control V. Then change the index to 1, go back, let's testing it, press button, double clicking, King and refund company, correctly printing it. Close here again, go back, double clicking. In the same manner, we can extend it to other inputs. Therefore, I prepare street number up to email. In order to look nice, what we can do is select the range like this, go to indent, clicking it, then everything is moved into inside. After inserting information, it'll be great automatically closing it. So copy unload me again here, go here, Control V, then it will close it. Okay, let's test it. Erase it this part, click receive import, double clicking, automatically all informations are plugged in. So we are done for this function, and let's apply for supplier information as well. Right hand mouse button, go to assign macro, click add here. We are automatically into supplier sub. What we need is a user form name. So click here, copy the name here, Control C, go back here, Control V, copy here, Control V, Control C here, Control V, Control C, Control V. Before move on next part, let's go to custom list and double click here. Let's copy all of them, Control C, go back to supplier, double clicking it, delete here, Control V, double click here. In case of the close button, the name is exactly same as before. So double click here, close button underscore close, the same. In case of the supplier information, we have to click here. This is a list box for supplier, right? So copy here the name and double clicking it. Then we create this one, but we need to have, then we copy this part again, Control X, Control V here, deleting this part. Let's changing this client part into supplier. Easy way to do it is following. First, copy this part, Control C, Control F, click replace. For replace with part, click here, select this part, Control C, put it here, Control V. After that, now let's select this area. We are going to change from listbox client into supplier under selected area. Click replace all, click OK. Now everything is changed. Close it here. After changing listbox supplier, we still need to change name boxes here as well. Let's go back to sheet. If you click here, we can see supplier company name, Control C, go back here, Control V. Next one is this one, Control C, Control V. Then we extended this part. Go back, click button, double clicking it. All expected inputs are correctly printing into sheet. So we complete this part as well. Now let's create reset function. Go back to VBA, double click the main, scroll down a bit. You can see clean up part A and part B. We will start with reset for supplier info part first. Let's go to supplier user form, double clicking it, copy entire this area, Control C, go back here, come to here, Control V. The next part is let's delete this part, put it this quotation mark, The meaning of this quotation mark is empty the cell. So we apply this into all other places. Let's test it whether it's working or not. Grab here and move a bit. Put cursor inside of this sub. After that, press F8 button. Then it will read line by line. First, company name is erased it. Up to website, everything is cleaned up. Press one more time means completely ended it. The yellow part is gone now. Move a bit here. Scroll up a bit. For same manner, we can apply for reset function for receiver info as well. I will do it quickly. Now, customer reset function has been done as well. Zoom out. Up to now, we implemented supplier part and customer part. Still, we have to creating for this part and this part as well. Then let's continue to implement. Then click reset button here, assign macro, add button. As a starting point, let's call cleanup part and part B. Call cleanup part A. Call cleanup part B. Move a bit. We finish these two parts. Then we have to clean up these two parts. If you click here, it's called issue date. Control C, go back. Control V. Due date. If you clicking here, it has a formula. It means that we don't have to code anything for this part. Now, if you click subtotal here, it also has formula, text as well. However, shopping cost and other costs, they don't have any formula. Therefore, we need code for these two. Total sound has formula as well. I will do it quickly. Go back. We edit these two. The next remaining part is this item description section. When you see description and quantity, these are the input. For item, it has formula. Unit has formula. Unit price also has formula. Total also has formula. Therefore, only these two areas need to reset. If you select this area, I already give a given name in name box. Simply Control C, go back to sheet. Let's create here. After that, point clear contents, which means this area also going to be cleaned as well. The last remaining one is this ID number. I will move a bit here a bit. Once we click this set number here, then new ID number will pop up for next invoice. That'll be nice. So let's implementing that function for this reset function. In order to do that, we have to know one name box. Just go here, search all rows, which means basically in save one sheet, column A without header, that will be our all rows. We need this information. Let's go back to VBA. I will move a bit here. Let's start here. In same manner, ID equal to worksheet function, which means allow to use function in sheet, point max, top, open bracket, close the bracket. In max function, we need a range. We apply the all rows, then +1 because of the header. We complete reset function as well. Let's test it. Go back to sheet. Let's move to invoice. For testing purpose, I give dummy values here. I will click the reset button. Then everything is cleaned up. ID number also update into number 8. If you go back to save 1, the last value is 7, so 8 is correct value. We complete full reset function as well. Before starting new invoice registration function, let's adding small error handler for supplier info and receiver info. Let's go to VBA, Alt F11, click Customer List, double clicking it. In here, before inserting something, let's clean up that area. Therefore, we need this code called cleanup part B. In same manner, supplier, double clicking it, apply call cleanup part A. In addition, I believe it is a good idea to having issue date in here as well. Issue date equal to comma now comma. I will follow this format and enter. When you see the small letter change to capital letter, which means the code are correctly implemented. Now let's move on to new invoice registration. Go to main module, scroll down a bit. Before to go further, I create extra sub, which is for error handler. If you look at inside, if ID is missing, then message box is popped up. In same manner, issue date, description start, and so on here. There's a second sub, which is also for error handler. If they find the same ID number, then it will complain it is already existing in the system. Scroll down a bit. Now you can see store and next. This is our new registration for invoices. For speed up, I already created variables, also set into variable for in VBA. When you see here sheet 3, which is a sheet 3 here, and invoice. So that's the name invoice. This workbook sheet invoice called order worksheet. Store worksheet 1 gonna be save 1. Store worksheet 2 going to be save 2. Now let's create new ID number because we are dealing with a new registration of an invoice. As a starting, ID is equal to same as what we implemented in reset function, worksheet function, point, max, all rows, plus number 1. After defining ID number, I am checking whether it's the same ID or not. The next, I have to create last row, and I will show you two different methods to define last row of certain range. Let's go back to sheet. Go to quantity, select the last one. You can see quantity n. Control C first. What we are going to do is when we adding item description here, then we will find the last row of the quantity. That will be our last row for item description section. Let's go back. So we say our last row is equal to bracket Control V, which we just copied from name box, point, and open bracket and close bracket. Inside Excel up, point, row, enter, which means that from quantity n and it goes up, and then you find the last value. That value's row information going to be last row. Let's go back to sheet. From here, there are certain numbers. Let's say we are here, then the row information going to be 29. That will be our value. However, from 1 to 20 is already occupied by other values. Therefore, we need to give minus 20, then 29 minus 20, then we got 9 as last row, which means our total item for item will be 9, right? Let's go back. So here, minus 20. This is one of the methods to calculate last row. The other method is I already prepared. Just select the area, go to here, uncommented block means already activating it. For this one, I applied find function, and this is the range. I'm looking for store worksheet 1, which is a save 1, looking at entire column A, then find the last value. After that value defined as row num. Now we have two last rows. Let's move on. In case of registration, which means store into save 1 sheet and save 2 sheet. In case of save 1, there's no looping. In case save 2, we have looping. Let's start with no looping case. Go back to sheet, save one. No looping information will sit in here. When we have new invoice from in row 9, in each cell has to be filled in by relevant information, which is going to be up to column T here. Go back. Our relevant sheet is store worksheet 1 and wait, right? Inside of this worksheet, we will implement something. We are going to use cells function, open bracket and close the bracket. So here inside, we can put row information and column information in store worksheet 1. In case of our row information, going to be row num, Control C, come here, Control V, comma. Now we need column index. Let's go back to sheet. Basically, we will start from column A, which is going to be 1. So we put 1 equal to bracket ID, which means that our ID information will store in this worksheet at cell location of here. That's gonna be here. Let's add in issue date as well. Go back, copy entire this, Control V. Here going to be 2. We don't need ID import, but issue date, right? Go back, our issue date here. In the same manner, we can apply up to column T. I will speed up. So I prepare up to 20, which is total amount. We complete no looping part. Let's move on. With the looping part, store worksheet 2 first. As next step, let's define a row for saving new invoice information. Simply go up, copy here, Control C, come down, Control V, change this part into 2. Here we added row num 2. Let's go to save to sheet. When you see here, it's starting from A to G, which means 7 columns. Now we are going to have a looping inside. I will use last row for if I equal to last row. Next, I. In this looping, we will save invoice information in save to sheet. Our defined sheet gonna be store worksheet 2 and with. In this time, I will use range. And we start with column A, right? We give row information and row 2. In our case, it's looping, therefore plus I. However, we consider header minus 1, close the bracket. If you go back to sheet, that means here we are going to put something. The necessary information going to be ID, right? Then equal to ID here. The next one will be item number. Go back, Control C, Control V. Here, B, clear. However, in this part is incorrect because go back. Even though we have a same ID number, but multiple item number will be existing. Therefore, we have to apply different method. Let's go to invoice. We will take the value from here, right? That's what we need. Let's go back to VBA. We will get info from invoice sheet using range again and column B and I for looping plus 20, close the bracket, comma, value, tab, enter. Which means that invoice sheet column B information will store into save to column B relevant cell. In same manner, we can apply for descriptions. The only difference is only changing column information. I will speed up. I create up to total amount. Scroll down a bit. Now we store the save to with looping part. After finishing it, go back to invoice sheet. After that, as an error handler, I will check whether there is a missing input or not. Finally, let's reset invoice sheet as well. Now we complete a new registration for a new invoice. Let's test it. Go back to sheet. We are going to create number 8 invoice. Supplier import, double clicking it. Receiver import, double clicking it. For description, you just select the item, quantity. I already prepare all functions. Automatically relevant parts will be inserting it. Here I put 3. Scroll down a bit. In case you have a shipping cost, you can add it here, or discount, you can add it here as well. Before clicking New Invoice button, let's check the current status. In Save 1, we are up to ID 7. In Save 2, we are up to row 17, ID number 7. Let's go back, click New Invoice. I can see reset function is working and also invoice number is 9 at the moment. Let's go to Save 1. We have a new ID and all relevant information. Let's move on a bit up to column T. In case of Save 2, we have 2 items with ID number 8. Go to Invoice Sheet. Now we complete a new invoice registration function as well. As next part, let's create call existing invoice function. First, we insert invoice number here. Based on this invoice number, we will bring detailed information into invoice sheet from Save 1 and Save 2 sheets. Let's create it. Go to here, click right-hand mouse button, assign macro, then click add button. It will automatically move to calling existing order. In order to speed up, I already defined variables and also set as like this. In addition, in case of calling existing order, ID number is important. Therefore, if ID is empty, then it will bring the message box. If the looking for ID number is bigger than maximum ID number, in this case also will give error message like that. In addition, we will check whether the ID numbers are existing or not in separate sub. Lastly, I create this one as well. Scroll up. In case of a cleanup all sub, we give all cleanup but also give new ID for next invoice. In case of a calling existing invoice, we don't need this part. Therefore, we need to create new reset function without providing new ID number. Just grab here, Control C, go here, Control V. We complete this part. Let's go back. So we are here again, calling existing order. We complete clean up all two. The next part is we have to bring the ID into VBA code. I will use J variable here. Then we can say J equal to ID. This ID number become J. The next part is we have to find a row which matching with J. For speed up, I prepared the code already. The idea is following. Our new find row variable, which is range, this will be in save 1 sheet in column A. Then we apply find function. Find what means J. Once we find J ID number in column A, that's going to be our new find row variable. Scroll down a bit. Now we need the last row information from save to sheet. I just give dummy ranges, which has enough length. The next one, we need a new last row, which we'll using for looping later on. The meaning of last row here is counting the same ID number in the list of column A, then return as last row. In addition, I prepared the error handler as well. Go down. Now we prepare the find row variable and last row. Let's start with without looping first. In case of calling existing invoice import is similar as new registration. So let's using existing code. I will move to new registration. Here we have no looping information. I will select from here to here, Control C, going down again, come down here, Control V. In case of calling ID, we don't need to bring back ID number, which already existing. In case of due date, it has formula, no need. In case of total amount also, it has formula, therefore no need. In case of calling invoice information will be the opposite case of new registration. Therefore, let's change the order here. Control X, issue date, remove equal sign, put cursor here, Control V, put it back equal sign. In same manner, we apply the other as well. Let's try one more time with the custom number. Control X, delete equal sign, put cursor in front, Control V, equal sign. I will speed it up for the remaining part. We can change like this way. Let's move on to with the looping part. As a starting point, we have to find a new find row. I already preparing it and error handler as well. For this part also, we can use it from new registration code. Let's go back to new registration code. In here, we are in looping part. What we need is this part is require. Control C, going down again. Control V here. Similar concept as without looping part. We don't need ID number. And also we have to exclude the input which has formula. Therefore, we delete item and also below part as well. As the next step, now let's reverse it. In new registration, we stay with save to worksheet, but it's supposed to be invoice sheet now. Control C, Control V here. Copy this part, Control C, put it here, Control V. Here as well, Control V. Our sheet going to be order worksheet. Therefore, I copy this part, Control C, Control V. Actually, we don't need this part here. Delete, delete here. Now let's change the order. Select the range, Control X, delete the equal sign, put cursor in front, Control V, equal back here. One more time, Control X, delete the equal, put cursor here, equal sign, like this. I think we complete the calling ID part as well. Let's test it. Go back to sheet. So now we have a total 8 invoices. Let's check it. I would like to call number 3, George Product Damage Company Name. Go back here, put 3, calling existing invoice. I can see George and Product Damage Company is correctly bring. Let's check item description for ID number 3. It has 3 ID, A2222, A2222. So calling existing invoice is work well as well. Let's move on. As the next step, let's start a printing function. Click right hand mouse button, go to assign macro, click add button. We are automatically in print report set. Before printing, we will check whether there is missing value or not. If there's no missing value, we start our printing processes. We define the range here. In case of a range address, it's coming from worksheet input range J22. Let's have a look what it is. We are in input sheet in J22, which is representing our print range. If you go to invoice sheet, from A1 to here, and H column 54. This is our print range. If you want to change the range, just go to input sheet, change the range here. In our code, the range of address is automatically reflecting it. Once our range address is ready, we have to put it as print range. As you can see, for the worksheet, which is our invoice sheet, range address, which we just defined it. In this part is just a setting, looks nice. I think actually we don't need this part. Let's delete it. In here, we have to define the range. Our range gonna be this one, right? Range, point, print out here, top. We complete our print function. Let's check whether it's working or not. Let's go back. For the demonstration purpose, I will print it as PDF file. In order to do that, please go to File. In my case, I already set as Microsoft Print to PDF. If you press this button, automatically saving it. In our case, it will already done by VBA code. Let's go back to Sheet. I will click the button here. I will save it in Photo folder. Give a file name which you prefer. File format will be PDF file. Then click Save button here. In Worksheet, you can see our ID number changed to new invoice number. Let's check inside in Photo folder. I can find this PDF form, double-clicking it. Click this X here, go to Menu, View, Zoom to page level. Then you can see Full Page. It looks nice as expected. Let's go back to Excel file. We complete print function. Now let's move on. Save as Excel file. Click right hand mouse button, assign macro, click add. It's automatically in here. In case of save as file, I already provide full code for you. What you have to do is just using it. However, it would be a good idea to check how it works. Go back to sheet. We need a new information, right? I will put invoice 1, call existing invoice, go back to VBA. Let's start it. Maybe it is a good idea, just rerun it next to it line by line. In our case, it's ID number 1 at the moment. Put cursor here, press F8. Checking input values. All values are correct. We read range address. Now we are going to create new worksheet. You can see new worksheet. Now I will remove grid line. Grid line is gone. Press F8 again. Now we define the save path here. Keep moving. Error handler. Copy existing invoice information. Paste it here. Let's change as value. It will take some time, so I will speed up. Put cursor here, then you can see black dot. Then press F5. It will skip all the middle part. The next part, we are going to arrange the format of invoice for saving file. Press F8. You can see in each column is readjusting it. For speed up, I will put new black dot, and previous one, just clicking again, you can remove it. Press F5. We complete the format of invoice, providing new ID. As you can see, new file name is in this location. Now, if you put cursor here, you can see the location of file, and the file name will be like this, ID number 1 underscore invoice.excel file. Next steps, save as new file and close the file. We came back to our original Excel file. Then reset function is activating now. Lastly, message box like this. Click OK and press F8 again. We complete the code. Let's remove this black dot. Click here. Now we just finished the save as Excel file code. Let's check it, how it looked like. Go back to photo folder. Click here. You can see ID number 1. Double clicking it. Look like this. Zoom out. You can see we are perfectly creating nice Excel invoice file as well. Closing it. Let's move on. Save as JPG file now. Click right hand mouse button. Go to Assign Macro. Click Add button. In this case also, I provided full code. What you have to do is just simply using it. The concept is similar, checking missing values, define variables. Then we define the range address, which is similar as print function and Excel file saving. We save the store folder now. Let's go back to Sheet. Click here, go to here, store folder. That will be here. So inserting your storage link, you are able to get JPG form as well. Go back, scroll down a bit. The main idea is similar as before, so I will skip up to this part. Now we store as JPG. There is extra stuff below, but I will skip that part as well, clean up and finishing it. Let's check whether it's working or not. Go back to Sheet. Calling existing ID. So I will put 2 here, call existing invoice, click Save JPG. As you can see, JPG order folder ID number 2 underscore invoice.jpg file is stored. Click OK. Let's go to photo folder. Come here, JPG order, double clicking it. You can see ID 2 here. Double clicking it, make it bigger. It looks very nice. Let's go back to file. Now we complete the 3 storage method from printing PDF file, JPG, and Excel file. Let's implement next function, which is going to be delete invoice. Click right hand mouse button, go to assign macro, click add. We are in the deleting sub. For speed up, I already defined variables and also defined the worksheet here. The next part, our ID value in worksheet has to be in the VBA code. Therefore, I will use J parameter here. The J value become our ID number. Let's start with delete without looping part first. We have to define row first value 1, which means it will be in save 1 worksheet. Column 1 means in column A. Then we apply find method. What means J, which is ID number. It will be the first matched J value in the column. Finally, we will return the row information of that area. That will be our row first value 1. In case of without looping, let's go back to Sheet. In save 1, in each row representing one ID number, so we are going to delete just only one row in the end. Let's go back. In here, we are applying deleting code. It has to be save 1 worksheet, point, row, tab, open bracket, using row first 1 value, close the bracket, point entire row, point, delete, enter. We complete without looping part. Let's move on with the looping cases. Stored row num, we'll use it for worksheet save 2. The meaning of a stored row num is following. We are applying COUNTIF function in save 2 worksheet under this range with a J value. Counting them, that will be our store row num. We need the total number of looping for new data. I will use new row num. Control C, here Control V, equal to in invoice sheet and Excel up, which we applied before. point row minus 20. In the same manner as row first value 1, we create row first value 2. In this case, it's going to be save to worksheet. The rest is the same. Now we prepared all necessary parameters. Let's start looping part. If row first value 2, which is the first matched J value in column A in save to worksheet, else, and if, in this case, we are going to have a looping. In else case, we need only message box and exit sub. Then close and if. In inside, we are creating another if statement. If stored num, which is from saved data in save to worksheet, compare with invoice item description number, you can see as another error handler checking point. We can consider else cases and if. In case of else cases, which means they are not equal, let's give message box. Now here, we are going to create real looping for I equal to new row num. Next, I in save to worksheet point rows top open bracket rows first value 2 close the bracket point entire row delete. Clean up here. We complete the delete part as well. Let's test it. Let's go back to sheet. I will choose number 6 this time, call existing invoice. I would like delete this part. Click invoice delete button. Let's go to save one. Number 6 ID is disappeared. In save 2, number 6 is gone here as well. Our invoice deleting function also complete. Let's move on invoice correction part. The precondition would be already we complete invoice form here or calling existing invoice. Then we apply invoice correction. For our example, I will use invoice 1, call existing invoice. Now let's correct this invoice. Click right hand mouse button, assign macro, click add. This is our correction sub. For speed up, I already prepared for parameter set 3 worksheets. In this case, I also include K parameter as well. Same as before, let's bring ID number into VBA code, J equal to ID. Then I will use the same formula, row first one value in delete sub. In same manner, let's start with no looping part first. In this case, we just updating existing information into new information, which means the idea is actually same as new registration, right? Let's use new registration code then. This is our new registration. Scroll down a bit. This is no looping part. Select from here to here, Control C, go back. In correction sub, in no looping part, Control V. We complete this part. Let's move on with the looping part. Scroll up a bit. In case of a store row num, same as before, count if functions are used it. In this case, let's use the list sub code a bit here. Scroll down from here to here. Control C. From here, Control V. Already we prepare store row num, new row num, row first value 2 are ready. In case of a correction, there are 3 possible cases. The first one is new corrected information will be smaller than previous cases, which creating empty rows. Then it is required to remove some of the rows. Case B, new correction information will be larger than previous one. Due to shortage of rows, it requires inserting some rows. Case 3, new corrected information will be same as previous one, then nothing to do, right? For case A, new information will be smaller than existing one. For case B, as if new information is bigger than existing one. Last one is else and if. For case C, there's nothing to do. Go back here, case A. Let's use new parameter k equal to store row num minus new row num. For case B, k is equal to new row num minus store row num. Now we prepared new k parameter for 3 different cases. Let's start looping part. In case of case A, for looping, we apply I equal to k. Next, I will copy here, Control V here as well. In case of deleting some rows, let's use delete sub code. I will copy here, Control C. Here, Control V. Now let's move on to case B. Control C, this part, Control V. Here we have to insert some rows. This part, change it to insert. By using k parameter and if statements, we are able to control the proper rows. As next step, we have to store corrected information into save 1 and save 2 worksheets, which is similar as new registration, right? Let's use new registration code then. Here is new registration. Here is with looping. I will copy from here to here. Control C. Scroll down again. Control V. In this case, there is no row num2. So let's replace this into row first value 2. Select this area. Control F. Click replace. Copy this one. Control C. Control V here. Let's select the range from here to here. Replace all. Click. Okay. Let's test it whether it's working or not. Go back to sheet. In case of invoice 1, let's add in 2 more items. I will click invoice correction. Let's go to save to. Something is wrong here. Let's go back to code. Problem is actually this part, we just copy pasted it. This one has to be actually new row num. Let's try again. I will fix it this 2 part as same as before. Select number 1 again. Calling invoice. We have 2 items. In this time, let's change customer information as well for checking. Receiver info, change it to king. Here is king now. Adding and click invoice correction for save 1. Now it's king. For save 2, in terms of information, we got correct information here. However, we need to some update for format. Here, Control C, Alt ES, format. Okay. Here also Control C, Alt ES, format. Okay. Now let's testing delete correction cases. We have 3 IDs. Let's make it 1. Go to invoice, put here 3, call existing invoice, make them empty here, delete. Now we have 1 item, invoice correction. Go back to save to. In case of ID 3, we have only 1 item. Go back here. We complete invoice correction as well. Let's implement next function. It's going to be invoice hierarchy. click right hand mouse button, go to assign macro, click add button here. We are in show train tree view sub. In here, we are going to show our new user form, which is hierarchy. Click here, hierarchy. We will try to appear this user form. First, copy user form name, hierarchy. Go back to our sub. Here, Control V, point, show, top. Let's test it whether it's working or not. Go back to sheet, clicking it. Now let's create close button. Close it here. Go back. Let's go to supplier, user form. Control C, close button. Go to hierarchy. Click inside here. Control V. Put somewhere here. If you click, this is the name of the button. Button underscore close. Double click the button. Let's add close function, which is unload me, and I would like to go to invoices up. Let's test it again. Click here, it's working. Click one more time. The next part, let's create here hierarchy. We call it tree view. Let's go back. At the moment, we are inside of a hierarchy user form. Double clicking it, then we are outside of user form. In order to create tree view, we need a new setting. Click toolbox here. Click right hand mouse button. Additional controls. Scroll down. In here, you can see Microsoft Tree View Control version 6. Selecting, click OK. Now you can see Tree View icon. Clicking it, then you can see small plus sign. From here, you can drag it, make it tree view size as you wish. If you click tree view, we are in tree view. You can see font here. There's just 3 dots. Clicking it, you can change your font style, and size. I will put 11 for font size. For the name of a tree view, you can change it as you wish. I will just stay with the tree view here. Double click the tree view. You are inside of the tree view. What we are going to do is, after user form is activate, we will call new sub, which is in main module. The name is generate tree view. Control C here. Go back. Double click. Scroll up. Call tree view. Next step, let's create generate tree view. Double clicking it here. For the speed up, I already create the parameter set here and also some ranges. Go back to sheet. What we are going to do is we are going to select only unique name of customer names, which means we have 2 Kings, 2 George, 2 Richard. So expected unique name going to be 1 King, 1 George, 1 Richard in this example. Under these unique customer names, we will give corresponding ID numbers as well. Let's go back to VBA. Let's say our order sheet's going to be Save One worksheet. Under this worksheet, scroll down here and with. Under Save One worksheet, we will implement something. Let's define last row. Also adding error handler here. Our last row is belong to column A, means this is our last row 8. If our last row is smaller than 2, which is 2 is here smaller, in that case we stop our sub. That's what it means for this one. The next part, we are going to reset our hierarchy tree view. It means that in hierarchy user form, the tree view which we define and the node will be clear, which means empty. Then error handler. After that, we are going to call new sub, which called add unique values. If you scroll down, you can see add unique value here. Let's go back to sheet. In this column, what we are going to do is we're looking at this column D. After that, in column AB, we find unique names only and printing it here. For testing, I will run this part quickly. F8 here, put black dot here. Let's move a bit here. Let's see whether it's generating the expected unique values. Press F5. Because of here, we went to invoice sheet, but we can check it. I will reset this one, remove black dot. Let's go back to save one sheet. Now you can see only 3 unique usernames are printing it. This is our input values for TreeView. Under these names, we will printing the corresponding ID numbers. Let's go back. We complete up to here. For this part, it's a bit complicated. I already made it, so just using it. In here, we need a new last row, which is going to be like this. Go back to sheet. The last value going to be that one, number 4. So last value of column AB. Error handler as well. Let's start our first looping part. The looping will base on these 3 numbers. For cost row equal to 2 to last result row, next cost row, right? Under this looping, we are going to deal with tree view with hierarchy, which is our user form, then tree view, then node, and with. Before to go further, let's revisit node part. Double click here. Each line going to be node. This is called parents. Under this is called child. Then we can create multiple child as well. In real life terminology, you have a shopping mall. It has 4-story building. Let's say we have a second floor. Then shopping mall going to be our parents, child going to be second floor. On second floor, there are many shops. One of the shop called shoe store. Then on second floor going to be parents, the shoe shop going to be child. Let's say there are multiple shoe stores on second floor. In order to distinguish each of them, we normally call address, but in computer science, that's called key, which means that each node has its own key. So the key is equal to address. Let's go back. In here, we are going to add our key, which is going to be save one worksheet, range going to be column AB, row information going to be cost row value. After that, comma, we are adding text information. Text is equal to save one worksheet, range going to be same as that one. So the value of text going to be this one. The key is going to be this one. This sentence allows us to choose 3 customer names. Let's test it whether it's working or not. Go back to sheet. I will press invoice hierarchy button. Now we can see 3 customer information as expected. Let's create a child under these names. Close it. Which trigger us to start second looping. As usual, we are using for statement. For order row is equal to last row. The last row is coming from this column A, the last values. Complete for statement. In here, we need to define 2 parameters. One called custom name, the other one called order ID. ID from column A, actual name from column D. Now we are dealing with the tree view. So under tree view and with, in case of a child node, we can start with add relatives, which is equal to customer name, comma, relationship going to be TW child, comma, we need a key, which is order ID. We define here, column A, ID info, comma, text which is order ID name again. Let's check whether it's working or not. Go back to Sheet, click here, and double click the name. Then corresponding ID numbers are showing here. There are 3, there are 2. Tree views are working very well. Let's go back to VBA. I would like to make some checkbox in front of each node. Let's do this part. If you go to Toolbox, there's called Checkbox. Clicking it, plus sign, you can create something like this. In case of a caption, let's change it like this, checkbox activation. In case of a font color, selecting it here, I choose yellow. In case of back style, clicking it, transparent. Font, selecting it, bold, 11. Okay, selecting it, make it bigger. In case of a name, let's change it to checkboxes. Double clicking it. And please add this code. Me means hierarchy. In tree view, checkboxes equal to checkboxes value. We complete the checkboxes part as well. In addition, you already noticed that I already created a tree view click part. This sub allows us to see corresponding invoice JPG file under our stored folder. Let's test it, both checkboxes and this part. Go back to Sheet, click. We have checkboxes. Then we have checkboxes disappearing. Double clicking it, checkboxes as well. If double click here, the corresponding invoice JPG file is popping up. ID 7 as well. Another button below here. If click the button, the JPG file will printing it as well. Close it. Let's go back to VBA. Click hierarchy. Go to toolbox. Click here. Drag it. Then let's give a name. I will put this print one invoice. Go to font, make it bigger. In case of a button name, I already create the sub. Just to choose this one, command button underscore print. Double clicking it, automatically it will go to the same sub which I created before. The important part is the name of a button has to be in line with this name here. In case of a command button for print is already done, therefore there's nothing to do from your side. Let's go back to user form. Click tree view here. Please scroll down here. You can see line style. Clicking it, change into first one. Then we have some line is appearing. Actually, that looks better. Let's test it again. Go back to Sheet. Click Invoice Hierarchy. You can see plus sign here. Just clicking it, it looks more intuitive. We complete this part as well. Close it. As the last function, please go to Current Status. In this sheet, you can see status of our existing invoices. If you click this button, it's automatically updating it. Click right hand mouse button, go to Assign Macro, click Add button. For speed up, I already complete the entire code for you. If you scroll down a bit, in this area, you can change the format, the name of printing values. Finally, we complete our invoice management tool. Thank you for watching tutorial. I wish you have a nice day.